We will call to order reinvestment zone number 16, City of Houston. Are there any board members on Zoom? Don't see any. Are there any members of the public present on Zoom? I don't see any. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak? There are none of those. Okay. We don't need to worry about the rules because there's no one on Zoom. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the March 26, 2025 meeting. Could I have a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Second? Motion and second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we will now suspend reinvestment zone number 16 and call to order the Uptown Development Authority. Again, I don't see any board members present on Zoom or members of the public. No questions from the public. So our first order of business is to approve the minutes of the March 26, 2025 meeting. Could I have a motion to that effect, please? Lisa, second? Scott? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay, Shannon, let's review the quarterly investment report.
Okay, great, thank you. Page 4 is the quarterly investment report for the reporting period of January 2025 to March 31st, 2025. This first page kind of outlines the different funds that we have and the balances in them. You can see in our capital project fund between two banks, Regions being the primary depository, we had capital funds of just over $1 million. That middle section is the infrastructure fund. Those funds are housed with the bond, with the trustee, which is Bank of New York Mellon. You see we had just over $20 million primarily. At this point in the game, that's mostly debt service reserve. Lastly, the affordable housing funds are also with the trustee, Bank of New York Mellon. And we had just over $6.7 million. Again, those are mostly debt service reserve fund. The second page of this quarterly report kind of looks at those deposits and or investments to ensure that we are either properly collateralized or we have appropriate investments as approved in our investment policy. You see the current deposits and the collateral that is pledged to cover those. We are sufficiently collateralized in all of our deposits and or investments. The middle section towards the bottom again is the compliance section that deals with training. We are in compliance with training. And lastly, it is the section that talks about the approved broker dealers. So this again is for January through March of 2025. Are there any questions or concerns about this quarterly report?
And we're all in compliance.
And we are all in compliance, yes sir.
Questions? Okay. Next item, Shannon, some invoices to approve.
All right, great, thank you. On page 6, you see a summary of the invoices that we have before you. We have just over $330,000 of reimbursements to the district. This includes our annual year-end for traffic and mobility. It's a little higher than normal. It's also about 3 months in there for reimbursements to the district. Very light on the UDA contracts. It's mostly attorneys for right-of-way and legal counsel and water wall maintenance. We do at this time of year add an authorization for you guys as we don't usually meet July and August, so we have about $150,000 there for invoices that may come through while we're not adjourned for us to pay, and we'll come back and report how much we've actually paid against that authorization. You see all of that total to just over $546,000. And then lastly, we have those contract payments. The last of Wilson Scully, which we completed that $224,000 represents retainage for the completion of that project. And then lastly, we have just over just at $72,000. That is the last payment to our Rice Avenue Partners Development Agreement. All in all, just over $842,000. Are there questions or concerns about that? The next page kind of looks at a little bit more detail or explanation behind those pages for this review.
Are there any questions? If not, could I please have a motion to approve these invoices for payment?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. They are approved. Thank you. Shannon, one more time for the review of the MWDBE report.
Okay, great. Thank you. On pages 9 through, I believe that is 12, 13, 14, we have our MWDBE expenditures. This first page looks summary level at cumulative from professional goal, cumulatively, we're at 41, construction, 17%, we're at 24. And then the bottom half of this page kind of looks at where we are in the current fiscal year. 53% for professional services and 3% for construction. Again, that tapers down as you finish your project, and the biggest thing we had was Wilson's Gully, but overall, that project did meet the construction goal. The next few pages are graphical depictions and a little bit more detail on the primary and/or subs that make up this month's presentation.
Questions?
Questions, concerns?
No? Okay, well, that was just for review purposes. Next, we need to consider approving an incumbency certificate, which is sort of self-fulfilling. It's something that Stephen signs, and we, as the officers, have signed. If there are any questions.
It's being done at the request of Regions Bank.
Hey, I
We
don't-
provided them with before, and
Yeah,
according to them, it's all they
This
want to
is-
do, and
Back when I used to be a lawyer, I would look at this and say, well, the document speaks for itself. However, if someone's asked for the board to approve it, I would like to ask someone to please make a motion to approve it.
thank you.
So moved.
Second?
Aye. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, done. Now, that is a belt suspenders approach, some lawyer
So,
somewhere.
We need to all sign it before we leave, is that the?
No,
Oh,
people
sorry.
who have to sign it have to sign it.
Yes.
Yeah, right, that's
I've
right.
already done it. It's sitting over in this pile.
Done.
Let me see if everybody else has already signed it.
It's done.
It's done? Yeah, I think
Done,
it's
okay,
done.
great, great.
It's done. Awesome. Okay. Next, we need to review and consider the approval of the investment policy for the authority.
All right, great, thank you. Page 16 is just kind of an overview of the investment policy sections, a brief description, and any updates that we've made to the policy. Hopefully you had a chance to read that when we sent it out on last week, but just an overview. We've made some minor changes. Skipping to section 4.01, where we talk about qualified broker and dealers. We did update the name change to reflect Hilltop Securities, where it was First Southwest. That was just a little dated. We've also removed some financial institutions that we don't do business with. In section 4.06, where it talks about monitoring of the market value, we added a couple of methods there, methods 3 and 4. Section 6.02, where it talks about prohibited investments, we added language to say, section 5.02, where it talks about securing your deposits. We updated the language to reflect federally determined, to replace the 250,000 limit. That makes it more evergreen, I guess. And then 6.02, we updated some language to say, in addition to the list, we're also prohibiting anything that is prohibited by Chapter 2270. Lastly, in the Exhibit A, we updated the language to certify that no investments prohibited by the statute will be invested by our brokers and dealers. We did have Jessica with ABHR to review that, so those are the minor tweakings that we've made. Do you have like questions or comments?
Questions? Could I have a motion to approve the investment policy, please?
So moved.
Second? Second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it is approved. Now we're gonna go to authorizing the 24-25 audit. That's tab 3, page 32.
We do, thank you, on page 32. We are just asking for your authorization to engage Carl Riggs and Ingram to perform our 24-25 audit for the Development Authority / TIRZ. They have been our auditor for the past 5 years, I believe. We are pleased, it's been a good relationship, and the quote for this year is $30,000 for that, and that is a marginal increase from the previous years,
And you all recommend that?
and we do recommend that.
Okay, any questions? Could I have a motion to approve it, please? Second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It is approved, thank you. Okay, Michael, the budget.
All right. Proposed budget for 25-26 CIP. First of all,
rebuild the Sandville, the Post Oak Boulevard, network streets. There were streets that didn't have sidewalks when I was a kid in Uptown. They didn't call it Uptown back then. We have generated $400 million in hotel occupancy tax revenue for the city. Hot tax, hotel occupancy tax, goes to tourism, the arts, paying for sports facilities. Over $400 million has been generated in hot tax from the hotels. There's been $1.2 billion in sales tax revenue generated for the city and metro since 1999. $1.2 billion in sales tax generated. Just last year, 24, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, 24 cycle, not 25, because we don't have it. There's over $5 billion in retail sales in the area, uptown area. Now, the last 4 years, we've had over $5 billion in retail sales. The year before the pandemic, I think the high number was 3.9 billion. So we've grown since then. We came down, there was a big bump after the pandemic was over, and it's kind of settled at a lower 5 billion. Probably gonna get the same this year. We've invested, the TIRZ, the city TIRZ, has invested $75 million in Memorial Park since Memorial Park joined the TIRZ in 2013, $75 million. We got more to go. And we've also generated $265 million in affordable housing funds that are spent throughout the city. $100 million of that, Judson, is from the 2021 bond, the $100 million bond. So $265 million in affordable housing that went throughout the city, not around here, for affordable housing. It goes to where it's needed the most. The investment has created tens of thousands of jobs since '99 for retail centers, restaurants, hotels. People come here to live, work, play. Doc, you live here. Thousands of people come every day to work here in the restaurants, hotels, the grocery store, all the retail centers. We've generated over $4 billion in capital investments in the last 10 years. All those buildings, this is our market area, the buildings on the other side of 610, used to be 2-story apartment complexes. They're all now high-rises. If Uptown wasn't flourishing, River Oaks District would have never got built. Post Oak Hotel would have never got built. There's been $4 billion in capital investment in the last 10 years. We've generated $1 billion in city property taxes in the area adjacent to the TIRZ. So there's been millions and millions of dollars that have been generated that weren't there across 610 and around Uptown that wouldn't have happened if Uptown hadn't been established. And there's more to come. We're looking at Post Oak Partners right here in this property, starting possibly next year. They're already talking to the city about variances. They need some variances for height and other things. Midway, if you look out this window when you leave, you can see Midway adding 160,000 square feet right out our window for this. They're redeveloping, reimagining. It's not called, it's called Central Park Post Oak, this building is. And on the other side of that, Diesel Moss, they're building a showroom sales office. They're spending millions on that showroom. And that'll be open. I think they'll be making a pretty big announcement the next couple weeks, month, when they finish it. Hanover's building 240 units over on South Post Oak. On Post Oak Lane, 240 units. They're putting they're getting the site ready to start putting the crane in and building it up. There's over $1 billion in capital investment coming in the next 4 to 5 years at Uptown, because we got to build a beautiful boulevard, we got all the trees, it's a place people want to come invest money. That doesn't mean we don't have our issues. We have our issues. Our total value, y'all have seen this before. We need an update and add 24 in here. Our total value, which is the blue, has flattened out since 15, 16. We've had oil went from 100 to $30 a barrel. I think it did a couple times. We had a Hurricane Harvey, and we also had the pandemic. We also have a tax rate, the red line, that has gone from basically 60 cents per $100 down to less than 52 cents per $100 valuation. And when the tri-party agreement with Memorial Park was signed in 2018, that we had a projection that we would grow 3% year over year. And that just didn't happen. There's economic trends out of our control, property, the tax rate going down, litigation settlements rising, which we had a big number this year, valuations staying flat. So when you have like a trifecta, you're not gonna have growth. We didn't have the growth we expected. We will see growth after these projects get built, but that's still about 4 or 5 years off. Also, we have a cliff coming in 2029 when we lose the HISD increment. HISD, by state law, none of the independent school districts can be part of TIRZ after 29, all throughout the state. So after 2029, we will get it in 30, the increment, but no more is HISD. Now, what we don't have here is the county participate. The county starts participating increment next year. We'll add this to the chart, see how it looks. That increment will not go to pay any agreement we have now or any debt service we have now, but it's a good thing to have. They have their own projects that they want to do. I'm giving you all this before we get into the budget because there is, y'all have seen this slide last year. I made some changes to it this year. We have a tri-party agreement that says we're supposed to fulfill an available increment, certain capital investments, and green space maintenance for Memorial Park. We're gonna do a lot more, but we can't get to the entire list in the tri-party agreement. We're gonna do a lot of green space maintenance, which is the #1 priority. So what I did, I changed it from, you had this in front of you last year. I changed our Uptown Memorial Park commitment goals. We are committed to the UDA TIRZ, committed to the tri-party agreement with Memorial Park that the city signed, that we as a city signed. Our top priority is green space maintenance, funded, not for the current budget cycle, but funded through the life of the TIRZ through 2041. We have to make sure we build up a reserve fund so that when HISD goes away, we're able to fulfill our commitment to green space maintenance. Make sure the park is an attractive place for people to go and cut the grass, clean the restrooms, et cetera, all the things you do in a park. And then we have to have a healthy ending fund balance over the life of the TIRZ. From now to fiscal year 2026, all the way to 2041, we have to be able to fund our commitment to green space maintenance for Memorial Park. We're not going to be able to do some of the other capital projects. Yes, Justin?
So Michael, in the previous year, we said during the current budget year, what was the thought process?
It was the first time I had been, as my first year, my first budget. We had talked to Memorial Park, we talked to the city. Literally, we did not, we're looking at a 5-year CIP budget. When we pass it, we send it to the city. We worked with Memorial Park on what all those charges, all those green space maintenance is gonna cost, have an escalator clause on them. We worked it all the way to 2041, so we basically know what the cost is. Then we did a projection on the revenue we were gonna come in from the increment, and it just didn't match. We're short of $20 million. And so we have to come up with plan B. And what is plan B? We gotta make sure that the green space maintenance is fulfilled. Otherwise, the maintenance falls back onto the city.
What does the Conservancy do? They don't do any of that?
They're not completely happy. We've had meetings with them. We'll continue. We have another meeting next week with the Conservancy, the city attorneys, their attorney, our attorney. They want as much as they can, but it's a available increment. We have no other revenue sources but what comes in from the increment. That increment has flat and actually going down. So some of the capital projects they wanted us to fund, we're not gonna be able to do it. We've done amazing things over there. 75 million plus, every dollar we've put in, $2 from outside sources have come, and investment over there. So, there are gonna be ongoing discussions. The city might decide to extend the TIRZ. It helps, it doesn't solve all the problems. but it'll help in the long, long run. There's a lot of, this will be dealt with over years, not just in 1 year. But one thing under, I'm hoping this board and under our watch, is that we basically keep the basic in the green space maintenance, so that it doesn't fall back on the city general fund, and that we're able to keep a park that is gorgeous, keep it up to a level that people are gonna wanna stay there.
So Michael, this is a goal,
This is a goal.
but it's not a firm commitment.
It's not a firm commitment.
But it's to be able to say to them, this is our goal.
This is what.
And if we have the money to do it, we're going to do it, and we're going to budget the rest of our expenses accordingly.
According. And what they want, and on their end, they're like, well, yours is just a projection. We want all the money in this year that it states in the agreement that you give it to it this year. And we're going, we can't do that. So that's kind of the back and forth.
Well, by the way, I wouldn't recommend that we adopt the budget doing that for a very simple reason. It may doom us to be falling short on firm obligations that we have that are prior in rank, if you will, to the obligations we have to Memorial Park. Bond obligations is the principal one. I mean, in fact, Michael, didn't you tell me you were gonna talk to financial advisors to get some support for that notion that we can't, in any year, our first obligation is to our bonds.
Yes.
We cannot spend money now if it means we're going to likely, there's a reasonable chance we'll fall short later. We're just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So that's not, it's kind of like having a first lien, the bonds.
They have a first lien, they absolutely do.
Yeah, so, but that's not in
But-
clear language somewhere.
Well, no, that is, but what is soft, if you will, is in the tri-party agreement, it says we'll pay it to the extent of the available income. Well, what they're saying is, well, you have the money now,
Give it to us.
so give it to us.
And we're saying no.
And we're saying, no, because it's not available if we believe we're gonna need it to fulfill prior contractual obligations.
The tri-party agreement was an agreement, not a,
Well, it is an
Legal
agreement, it's a contract, Judson, but the other side of that is they signed off on those assumptions also, they haven't proved out. We're, nobody's at fault, then everybody's at fault. They were, frankly, they weren't particularly ambitious, but to suggest that it's our burden solely to deal with the fact that we had COVID, I don't think so.
I missed the word goal, so that helps.
So
Yeah.
goal is important, not a
Kenny, you have a
firm
question?
commitment.
Might we add a goal or discuss, does the UDA TIRZ have some assets it could dispose of to raise more funds for whatever commitments it has? For example, the transit centers, could they be sold? Could some of our other assets be
Surely
considered?
the stainless steel,
Well, I mean, if there's a sponsor who wants to put a sign on it, let's go for it. But are there some creative things we could look at in that
I don't think
light?
Metro wants to buy the South Transit Center.
How about the north?
We don't own the north.
We don't own the
We
north.
own the south. We own the south and we own Waterwall. That's basically it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. We don't own anything else.
Let's explore those things and see if they have a viable way of helping us with a sale.
We could tell the city that, hey, why don't you get Metro to buy this from us?
Something like that might be very.
That's actually an interesting idea. I mean, the mayor has proved to be very adept at understanding that money is fungible.
Yeah. Now, nobody's gonna wanna buy a Waterwall.
You don't think so?
Come
Because
on
you have
now.
ongoing expense, it doesn't, the
It's
county
because
might
he
take,
can't get the naming rights.
the county might take it over.
We don't give up yet.
Okay.
Well, no,
And also,
No,
it's a special
you
project
cannot.
that I've got.
that's, we were discussing this
Kendall.
earlier, it's a deal that has some intricacies that aren't necessarily favorable to the district. I'll simply leave it at that.
And
Happy
the
to
main reason I
advance more
started
questions
with
about
this, because this is what's gonna guide us through the year.
This is our concept,
Yeah, this is our concept.
and we're sticking to it.
There's a lot of conversations, and every time we meet, I'll give you updates. If there's anything major that comes, I'll tell you ahead of time. Steve, I call Steve Chairman Lerner
Frequently.
all the time, frequently, giving him updates every other week about what's going on. We have another meeting next week with Memorial Park and the city of Houston. I am gonna recommend, and one thing we need to talk, Chairman Lerner, is we need to talk about having a standards committee meeting to to air everything that hasn't been done. All the standards committee is made up Memorial Park, the city of Houston,
I really look
the
forward
Kinder
to that.
Foundation.
Sign me up, Coach.
I know when he calls me chairman, it's not a good sign.
Yes, it is.
It's really not. It's like when my mother calls me my first,
Steve
middle,
Martin.
and some other names too.
It'd be a good idea for us to, we're meeting with Memorial Park, but it's a good idea to go ahead and have the standards
We
committee
need to.
and walk through this with the entire standards committee. They don't know.
They gotta
all.
hear it.
So, all right, proposed budget, this is a big beginning fund balance, 3.4 million. We have to have an good ending fund balance for the next year and for the next year and next year. This is actually a little lower than I wish it would be. We have available tax increment. Now, this is after affordable housing's been paid, the city of Houston's been paid their fee. What else comes out of this? Debt service and debt service and litigation settlement, which we had probably one of the highest litigation settlements we've had last year. It was basically 3.1 million on this current increment. And so we have 6.1 coming out of the 2026 tax increment. Grants and interest, this is basically the Uptown Memorial Park Trail and Bridge, which is basically a TxDOT grant, basically a pass-through. All these funds together is 18.9 million. Less city and other commitments. We have in our books that we're gonna pay 500,000 in municipal services fee. They have on, the city of Houston actually has in the books 4.9 million, but we don't have to pay it if we have other obligations. It does accrue to a larger number. They don't, how would you say, Shannon? They don't forgive us of this.
Forgive us of that, we do accrue it and show it as a liability.
We have talked to Gwen Tillotson, who's head of economic development for the city, back in with the finance department. This can't continue to grow. It makes no sense for the city. It makes no sense for us. And they should probably, in my, what I'm putting forth is that they give us credit for everything we've done with Memorial Park against municipal services fee, because it's a park for the entire city.
No, it's a great idea.
Let's see if I can get it done. And so this is developer agreements that we have and also project management. We have project management on the bridge. We have a couple other projects for 1.43 million, subtotal 1.9. So 1.9 of 18, 9 is 17 million for funds available. This is basically our capital project for next year. This goes to the CIP that y'all be voting on. Traffic and safety information, 166,000 is based on cameras. Right-of-way acquisition, 50,000. We have the right-of-way expenses every single year. We also have some for the bridge, trail and bridge over here on 610 coming up this year. Waterwall Park. We put 310 in the budget. It was 276 this past year on expenses. We have a little higher number just in case the pump goes out. There's Uptown Memorial Park Trail and Bridge. It's a grant. This year will be 9.4 million to advance the bridge. And then Memorial Park and Arboretum. 2.9 of this is for Memorial Park, green space maintenance, the running center, and ecological restoration, which is basically maintenance. And then 200,000 goes to the Arboretum.
So, capital project, 310,000 to water wall, is that, so you pay for water or you pay to fix it, is that capital expense?
It's capital maintenance.
Capital maintenance. So we shouldn't think of this as a capital expenditure,
To me, it's an expense.
like a maintenance expense, like a,
We have it in the CIP. There's
like a
really
debit
not
on the
some-
income
But I
statement.
understand why you have it where you have it.
Why do we have it there?
We have to have it in the CIP.
Okay.
It's part of this. We need it to be seen.
Because of the nature of the TIRZ.
Yeah.
Okay,
And who it's supposed to pay.
But no, your accounting rules have not been repealed.
thank you.
It's like, there's a question on ecological restoration. There's green space maintenance. Those are all in the CIP. Because they're capital, the way the city looks at it is, it's maintenance on a capital project. Their lawyers
In
have
my
cleared
business, we
right
call it repairs and maintenance and expensive,
Yeah, their lawyers have cleared it that way, so they've justified it.
but it fits with the revenues and expenses.
Yeah.
But we're not really getting anything new like we are with those other numbers.
No, or we're not even keeping up.
So, at the end of paying the 13 million, after all these add up, our projected fund balance is a little over 4 million. I wish it was higher, but it's not. Here is what we submit to the city. This is look at the 5-year CIP. This is 2025, what we did this year. This is the 5 years out, our 5-year total. This is how we have to submit to the city. We just talked about the signalization, the cameras, right-of-way, water wall, 526,000 for projects, we call them.
So, Michael, I'm sorry to belabor the same point again, but if you go back one more. So, for $1.5 million over 5 years, we're really getting nothing new.
Well, other than new equipment at the water wall, because some of that goes to cover the purchase of new pumps and things like, which sometimes are pretty significant cost.
Yeah.
But there are some things in there that most people would say are not capital expenses.
So when we get a new pump, we're losing an old pump.
They had the water wall was down from like October, November to April. They had to send out for, I think, the pump in Canada and the motor and South Korea. It took months to get them refurbished and sent back to go put them in.
So as we kind of meet our financial challenges, the water wall is a major component in that conversation.
Yeah, it is, up to
Yeah.
1.5 million.
That's
That's
a-
also one that we've got a contract with.
Yeah, that's a real opportunity perhaps.
But when you give it, say if the county took it over, they have to take the expenses at the same time.
Wonderful.
Well, yeah, someone else did that once.
Yeah, exactly.
They did. That's why we're paying it now.
Regional transit, we have nothing in regional transit. We have this here, you will not see this again next year, because 2025, we paid 1.8 million to TechStop to finish our TechStop agreement. This is Memorial Park. This is 2025, we paid 2025, ecological restoration, green space maintenance and running center. We finished up the lane bridge, 234,000. We had some site walk repair, I don't know exactly where that was, panel. 200,000 to Arboretum. Okay, so going forward, we've agreed to Memorial Park to do 1 million ecological restoration, 1.9 in maintenance and running center for a total of 2.9 million. The Arboretum 200,000, and then the pass-through Uptown Memorial Park Trail and Bridge, that's grant funded, the 9.4 million, it's still in our CIP.
Michael, the $8.5 million roughly on the green space maintenance and running center, how much of that is like new building versus running something?
It is, it's roughly 200,000 plus for the running center, 200,000, 240,000. I've got the exact number somewhere, but it's.
Shannon, you're shaking your head. We're not getting anything new?
No, it's
Oh.
all
Okay.
maintenance.
Oh, well, that was, I misunderstood the question. I thought you were talking about how much is running center, how much is.
It's all maintenance.
It's all.
It's all maintenance, okay,
It's maintenance on a capital project.
okay.
And it's part of our agreement with the Memorial Park Conservancy, which is part of the Kinder Foundation. The Kinder Foundation has put tens of millions of dollars into Memorial Park and other parks in the city. And so part of the agreement was the city was looking for a way to fix the park after the drought. We were the funding source.
And should we look at this in a way where we could kind of tell what's maintenance versus something new?
There's nothing new.
There's nothing new.
There's nothing new.
It's, we're just misusing the word capital.
Correct.
Okay.
No, we're using the word capital.
Misusing it.
The city,
City has its own vocabulary.
Okay,
there you go.
sorry.
All right, so
I should
what
say
we
the
changed
bridge
here
stuff
is that,
But it's a pass-through. $4 million, almost,
We
three
put
point
100,000 as a
seven.
placeholder and zero down here, which is supposed to be 500,000, I think. Or is it another million?
Probably another million.
Another million on what we still owe on ecological restoration.
And what does that mean?
It is, it's part of their maintenance, it is also part of invasive species.
So we take out the invasive grass and put in some really good Texas grass or something like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
How are the animals doing
The,
They're enjoying it.
there's a lot of,
underground?
The critter, oh, the critter crossing?
Yeah, how the critters doing?
I do not,
You know, I've never heard whether they use it or not.
We never got a critter
You
cage.
could ask.
Oh, you'd go there, I gotta go there at night, check it out.
Yeah, I'm sure someone.
I think I have seen photos of that.
Yeah.
There's nothing on what,
It'd be an
what,
awful expense.
what you're talking about infrastructure,
Ecological.
there's nothing on infrastructure in the next 5 years.
So there's really nothing, okay, sorry. I'm following along.
So this is the projections over the next 5 years. We're gonna have more conversations on what happens in ecological restoration, what happens, we still have on a capital project list, San Philip Trail, that's probably not gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
We have Seymour Lieberman Trail, a $3 million payback. We have pedestrian routes trails. We have other parts of the capital list for Memorial Park that basically we're not gonna be able to get to with the increment that we have.
So those three items, the money, if it's gonna appear, is gonna come from outside. We might get a grant, we're working on it, or we've given up.
The Memorial Park still wants to do the capital projects. We have to work out, if we start growing by double digits, we'll be able to pay some of it. I don't see that happening in the near term. The city of Houston might step in by extending the TIRZ, but bringing that money forward is gonna be a little bit difficult. Right now, all we can do is pay for the green space maintenance and
But
part of
the,
ecological
the,
restoration.
the discussion right now is about that very top line on ecological restoration, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also all the capital costs, like.
I understand, but at the starting point, I mean, we're not even down to the capital fees, it just can't happen.
Yeah.
It's really about that top part. So is there a chart that shows what our estimated fund balances are during that same period?
We have a big chart that it's a working document that we're trying to grow the fund balance so we can.
And so how do we demonstrate that even if we're growing the fund balance because we have to grow the fund balance? How do we demonstrate that? Because I think that's the key to it, because if I'm looking at it, I say, wait a minute, you guys have $4 million at the end of the year, you have $5 million at the end of the year. What do you mean you can't pay me the $1 million?
We have a chart that shows once we go up, we go down, we go underneath, which is once we pay everything out of our fund balance, we cross zero.
Right, and as you and I have discussed before, we actually can't cross zero.
Yeah.
Because zero means you're out of money.
Yeah.
And so you can't, the chart goes like this and it shows, 10 years you're out of money. Well, there is no out of money, there's no money to spend, and we have all this debt service. And this is triggered because the HISD increment goes away. That's what this is all about, is sort of building I would call it a reserve. It's building a reserve because our revenues are gonna drop like that in 1 year.
Was
Stay
that
down.
a sunset deal, or was it?
Yeah, it's a sunset deal. Yeah, view it that way. There's sunsetting of that, yes. Bear in mind, we extended the term of the TIRZ, but we couldn't extend the
Right.
term of HISD's contribution to
HISD
the.
would have continued to participate longer if they could under the original terms, which were financially advantageous to them. But what state law doesn't allow is for them to continue to participate and have it actually be a positive.
Oh,
for
right.
them. So that's what ends. Well, traditionally, the HISD gets to not count the property value that's in a TIRZ in their so-called Robin Hood calculations, and that's not what it's called anymore, but it's a statewide school finance system where they end up essentially getting made whole for what they contribute to a TIRZ, and then they actually get back a little bit for HISD facilities from the TIRZ.
And otherwise, they might have to pay money out, and instead
Exactly,
they're
and
not.
so what changes when HISD participation stops is they would start losing money by participating, so they're not going to, and no one would say they should.
Right. Okay, what's next, Michael?
That was Memorial Park, authorized 25, 26, fiscal year 25, 26, budget and CIP. Which are those numbers back?
Okay, anybody have any more questions about this? And just so you know, the budget committee spent quite a long time going through all of these numbers. And couldn't figure out how else to do it other than Kendall's idea to sell assets.
It's not just my idea, it's just
Good
a
idea.
good idea.
Well, let me ask you a question, Michael.
We are gonna try we will try the Metro.
I have an idea. So this is not an idea, a question. So if we said to somebody, hey, you wanna name this bridge after your family? You give us $5 million. Where does that money go?
That goes into the park.
It can account for 4 years of, well, sure it can. If
It
that's the
goes in,
condition of it.
what's that?
Sure it can. It can do whatever it wants, if that's what the person wants.
So if we sourced it.
If they contribute
If
to
we
us.
sourced it,
Yeah.
It's
They
not
can-
on the, it's not on the, it's not on the capital project plan list. It would go into the old archery range, it would go to finishing that project, but it would not go to
I
our,
think we can get more creative with that. I know this is just a thought on my part, but, no, I don't have anybody in mind. But, it's just like, well, it's a great naming opportunity, and I suppose the park might claim it, but they funded $0 for it. You know, it's just like, well, why couldn't we do that and give the money to the park to satisfy our ecological restoration obligation?
we're getting credit for $5 million for the bridge
Yes,
on the capital stuff list.
yeah, on the capital projects roster, 5 million is, from the
I
bridge.
know, but it's
But this, yeah,
trying to think of the most delicate way to
I would
say
like
it.
you to bring that up during the standards committee, and that would be a good topic to.
Be happy to, because this wouldn't exist but for your creativity in figuring
Well, I
out
would say,
how to get this done.
well, I would say John and Clark had a lot to do with that. And,
Yes, I don't mean to
a,
omit anybody, but my point being is, this has clearly been an uptown project, an uptown-led endeavor, which is clearly gonna add value to the park, and if we can find someone that, I don't care, I don't know what the price is, $1 million, $2.5 million, $5 million, whatever it is. Just a thought.
Well, it is part of the master plan, a connection, but not this beautiful version of a connection.
No, and we found $20-odd million
Exactly.
to build it.
Exactly.
We can get someone to put their name on it. Can't make you put your name on that.
Yeah, but I don't see
I
any
think
budget
you are
for
brilliant
it.
with your creativity, and I'm confident, I do not know the name of that bridge, but I hope we can do something as creative as that to help our
Well,
situation.
It just seemed like an opportunity.
we will bring it up.
TIRZ 16.
Bill Miller Bridge.
Clark, nice try though, very nice. Okay, we need to approve this.
Yes.
Would someone please have a motion to authorize the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget and CIP plan, please? Thank you, Lisa. Second. Todd, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay, Michael, thank you very much for all that detail, because it is important.
Okay, thank you.
And now my question is whether I can leave before I see the update again.
Yeah, you saw this
I did.
during the other board meeting.
Thank you, guys, I
We
appreciate it.
should adjourn.
thank you.
You
All right.
need to adjourn.
Good job, Mr. Chairman.
You gotta stay.
We don't have a quorum.
Adjourn.
Oh, I have to do
We
it?
have to adjourn, we don't have a quorum.
Okay, guess what?
It's just an update.
Can we adjourn, can he then do that?
Well, after we adjourn, you can give a slideshow.
Excellent, we aren't voting on anything. Okay,
No.
we're going to, I gotta read my notes. We're
You want me to
going,
make a motion to,
no, we're cool.
for you to leave?
Second. You know, the problem is it's gonna be approved unanimously. In any event, we will recess the Uptown Development Authority meeting, we will reconvene the TIRZ meeting, and then we will adjourn both Reinvestment Zone Authority and the Uptown Development Authority. Thanks very much, guys, appreciate it.
Recording stopped.